I will never forget the exact moment my heart shattered into pieces on what was supposed to be a day of gratitude. It was Thanksgiving evening. The house smelled of roasted turkey, cinnamon, and freshly baked pies. Soft laughter floated from the living room where my family had gathered. My parents, my older sister Claire, her husband, and a few aunts and uncles. I had spent the entire day in the kitchen just like every year. I peeled potatoes, basted the turkey, set the beautiful table with the good china, and made sure everyone had their favorite dish. For 10 long years, I had been the quiet backbone of this family. After my father's business struggled and my mother's health issues piled up medical bills, I stepped in without hesitation. I worked 2 jobs, poured every extra dollar into paying their mortgage, covering Claire's credit card debt, and even helping with my nephew's school fees. I never asked for thanks. I just wanted to belong, to feel like I mattered. But that night, everything changed. We had just finished dessert when Claire suddenly stood up, her face twisted with resentment. The room went quiet. She looked straight at me and said the words that still echo in my nightmares. "You've always thought you were better than us, haven't you? Always flashing your little savings account like you're the savior of the family. We don't need your pity money anymore." I sat there, fork frozen halfway to my mouth, completely stunned. Before I could even respond, my father slammed his hand on the table and pointed at the door. "Get out of my house," he said coldly. "If you think you're so independent, then go. We don't want your judgment here tonight." My mother looked away. No one defended me. Not one person. Claire's husband even smirked. The betrayal hit me like ice water in my veins. These were the people I had sacrificed for, the family I had loved with everything I had left after losing my own dreams along the way. Tears burned in my eyes, but I refused to let them fall in front of them. I stood up slowly, my hands shaking, and walked out into the cold November night with nothing but my purse and the clothes on my back. The door slammed behind me. I sat in my car for a long time, staring at the warm lights glowing from the windows. Laughter started again inside, as if I had never existed. In that moment, something deep inside me broke, and something even stronger began to awaken. But what I didn't know as I drove away into the darkness was that by morning, the family who had thrown me out would lose everything they thought they had. The drive home to my small apartment felt endless. Tears finally came, hot and uncontrollable. I replayed every moment in my head, all the late nights I had worked overtime so I could quietly transfer money into my parents' account, all the times I had told Claire, "Don't worry, I've got you," when her spending spiraled out of control, all the holidays I had chosen them over my own peace. I had given them my loyalty, my savings, my youth, and in return, they had treated me like an embarrassing burden, like I was nothing more than a walking ATM they could shame and discard when it suited them. That night, I barely slept. I curled up on my couch, feeling smaller and more alone than ever. The pain in my chest was so heavy I could hardly breathe. How could the people who were supposed to love me unconditionally turn on me so cruelly? Over what? A few pointed comments I had made weeks earlier about being more responsible with money? By sunrise, the anger started to mix with a strange clarity. I realized I had been blind for years. I had confused love with obligation. I had confused family with ownership. But I wasn't broken, not completely. I sat at my kitchen table with a cup of coffee and opened my laptop. For the first time, I looked at the full picture of what I had been carrying. Over the past decade, I had paid off nearly $87,000 of the family mortgage in my name as a cosigner. I had covered thousands in credit cards and loans that were technically under my responsibility because I wanted to protect them. They thought kicking me out would free them. They thought I would come crawling back, begging to be part of their table again. They had no idea that the quiet daughter they had just humiliated held the keys to their entire fragile world. The shift inside me was quiet but powerful. The pain didn't disappear, but it transformed into something sharper, clearer, a steely resolve I had never felt before. I wasn't going to scream or beg. I wasn't going to cause a scene. I simply decided it was time to stop protecting people who had never protected me. By 8 a.m. the next morning, everything began to unravel for them. I made a few calm, professional calls. First to the mortgage company where my name was still tied to the loan, then to the credit card companies where I had co-signed for Claire, and finally to my own financial advisor. I didn't demand anything dramatic. I simply stopped the automatic transfers I had set up years ago. I requested a formal review of the accounts, and I asked the bank to send official notices regarding the outstanding balances that had been quietly accumulating because no one else had been making consistent payments. The calls started around 10 a.m. My mother was the first. Her voice was shaky. "Emma, the bank just called. They're saying the mortgage payment didn't go through and there's some issue with the loan. What's going on?" I stayed calm. "Mom, I think you should ask Dad and Claire. I'm no longer part of that house, remember?" Then came Claire's frantic messages. "This is your fault. You're trying to ruin us because we told you the truth last night." But it wasn't me ruining them. It was the truth finally catching up. By afternoon, the reality hit them hard. The mortgage company sent a formal notice of default. Claire's credit cards, the ones I'd been quietly keeping afloat, were suddenly maxed out with overdue warnings. The family business my father had been struggling to keep alive, the small line of credit I had personally guaranteed, was now under review. They had assumed my support would always be there, no matter how they treated me. They never imagined the day I would simply step back and let their choices have consequences. My father called that evening, his voice no longer angry but broken. "Emma, please, we need to talk. This is destroying everything." I didn't yell. I didn't gloat. I simply said, "Yesterday you told me to get out of your house. Today I'm respecting that boundary. I hope you all find the strength you told me I lacked." The days that followed were difficult, but they were also freeing. The family home faced serious financial pressure. Claire had to confront her spending habits. My parents finally had to face the reality they had avoided for years. I didn't take pleasure in their struggle, but I did feel a profound sense of peace. For the first time in a decade, I was no longer carrying their weight. I was finally carrying my own life. Months later, some relationships began to heal, slowly, carefully, with real boundaries in place. Others didn't, and that was okay. This experience taught me something I will carry in my heart forever. Family is not defined by blood or shared holidays. It is defined by respect, love, and reciprocity. Never pour from an empty cup hoping someone will finally see your worth. Your value was never up for negotiation at their table. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is quietly walk away, not out of anger, but out of self-respect. And when you do, the universe has a way of showing everyone exactly who was holding everything together. If you've ever been made to feel like a burden by the people who should lift you up, I hope this story reminds you, you are allowed to stop saving those who refuse to value you. Your peace, your boundaries, and your future are worth protecting. Thank you for listening. If this story resonated with you, share your own experience in the comments. Remember, you are stronger than their rejection, and sometimes walking away is the beginning of everything beautiful. Stay strong and protect your heart.